I normally don't use this channel to comment on current affairs, but it's quite important to do so today, I think, because we've just had a BBC article which states that a man has pleaded guilty to trying to murder Hatun Tash, who is a regular attender at Hyde Park, a born-again Christian Turkish convert from Islam to Christianity, and she's previously been attacked, been knifed by a Muslim. So I'm going to read you the BBC article. It's headed this: Speaker's Corner, man admits Hyde Park gun attack plot. And it says, a man has admitted preparing to murder a Christian preacher at Hyde Park, Speaker's Corner, in a terrorist attack. Edward Little, 21, from Brighton, was carrying £5,000 with which he hoped to purchase a firearm, a passport, and 2 phones when he was arrested last year. It was alleged his intended target was Hatun Tash, who regularly argued with other speakers and her camera crew, as well as any police or soldiers. He pleaded guilty at the Old Bailey by video link from Belmarsh Jail. Earlier this year, Little of Pelham Street denied preparing to commit acts of terrorism, but changed his plea and admitted the charge on Friday. He also admitted researching Hyde Park, where he planned to carry out the attack, collecting money to purchase a gun and travelling to buy it. Little was on his way into London in a taxi for which he had paid £300 when he was stopped and arrested on the 23rd of September 2022. He had asked the driver if he could stop and pray at a mosque, although the driver had said there was not one on the way. The prosecution asserted Little researched other targets, including military figures and members of the Metropolitan Police, but defence lawyer Tom Godfrey said the 21-year-old only accepted targeting the preacher. I don't know whether that should be only intended targeting the preacher. Police later found an encrypted chat on one phone which set out his attack plan and the gun purchase. Little declined to answer questions in police interviews, but his mood changed when he was shown a YouTube video of the preacher, and he launched himself across the table at an officer, swinging repeatedly with his fists before being restrained. He went on to admit assaulting the officer at Newbury Police Station on the 28th of September and was sentenced to 40 weeks in prison. At a previous hearing, Judge Richard March said Little had an absolutely shocking previous record. The defendant was convicted of 14 offences on 7 separate occasions, including for robbery, having a knife and drug dealing, dating back to 2017. He will be sentenced on the 21st of July. This is par for the course with the BBC, by the way, not mentioning the man is a Muslim convert, not mentioning Islam at all. Neither the word Islam nor the word Muslim comes in here. But we do have the giveaway. He asked to pray at a mosque. His name is Edward Little, so he will have been a convert to that religion. And it shows the real danger that Hatun Tash has faced in Hyde Park, and anyone who makes any serious criticism exposing what Islam is really about and what its origins are all about and the nature of its moral code, if we can call it that. And he's also another example of someone who converts to that religion and becomes utterly evil. So we have a person who is a criminal anyway, but instead of the conversion making him a good person, it enhances his evil. And this is one of the reasons why many of us regard Islam as a quite evil religion, that it is actually infests people with demonic influences. It isn't necessarily a case of possession in the technical sense, but there is certainly something going on when convert after convert ends up becoming 10 times worse than they were before their conversion. What we have to do, those of us who go to Speaker's Corner, though they may not be Catholics, we pray for those Christians who are giving their understanding of the gospel, which is 90% Catholic anyway, if they're Protestants, or born-again Christians as they may call themselves. And for those who are speaking against Islam, they need the special protection of God's holy angels, because they're dealing with real, pure evil. So just wanted to get that out there so people can know how bad it has become in this country when we have huge numbers of Muslims, and it is a large number who attend Hyde Park, and quite a large number that are willing to go beyond the law to protect their religion from criticism. We must understand this is not a British way, it is a way of another culture. And we must understand not all people are the same, not all civilizations are the same. We have the benefit of living in what is a Catholic civilization. And we've derived from that over the centuries, over 2 millennia, an understanding that you simply do not do what these people from another civilization, or from this civilization but have adopted the values of another civilization, what they're prepared to accept. But if you have a system, a religious system such as Islam, which says that those who leave that religion are to be executed, then what on earth are you to expect to happen? So we must ensure that the truth about false religions continues to be got out there without fear or favour, and by that means one can bring those of goodwill in religions like Islam to the light, to Christ, because most certainly there will be a lot of Muslims who are disgusted by this behaviour. Many Muslims will still think it's an aberration, it's not the norm in their religion, and of course being willing to do this is not the norm for Muslims. But of course there's a lot who would be willing to do this were there not to be penalties, or to do something like this because they feel that they are entitled to do as they wish when they're offended. But Muslims of goodwill will see that this is a dark and sinister religious system, and what is needed is for them to investigate why it is like that, to see that it's not just an aberrant behaviour, it is derived from the very roots of their religion, and that therefore one mustn't leave that religion if one is to escape its pernicious influence. One must basically say, I reject this. Now of course that doesn't mean one becomes a Christian in a general sense, or a Catholic in a specific sense, but one must escape darkness before one can actually begin to investigate where the light may be, if there is any light. And it is the purpose of many Catholic channels and this Catholic channel to show people that the light is Christ, and that Christ established the Catholic Church, and that is where one must go for the ultimate truth, to know God in the way He wants to be known. So I'll end the video there.